Behind the Beard by Aaron J. Jackson.
It's 9-6 in the Jeep squad, click rolling Pete out gang. If you's lame, it's obsolete, I will refrain. But we gon' now do some ballin' tonight. And we gon' lay a little pipe, and we gon' set it off right. The dead of night, and you know I'm ready to get my freak on. So I'ma get up on the phone so I can get my speak on. Let's get some drinks on, but that can lead to slipping and sliding. So I'ma let Mr. Mike do the driving. I'm riding through the good, it's all good, that's where my folks be at. And I'm gonna keep on coming back, long as it stay like that. Today's a day like that, for stacking chips and watching hips. The gladdest of the night to be a pimp. We dip to the casinos, I got a Gino, we making keynotes. Godfather Al Pacino, we know the tricks of the trades and the cost can be plays. Was been out the chick, but that was better days. And it's on tonight, got my hand on ice, and I'm about to take flight tonight. Don't you know my peace of mind, and my pockets held tight. It's gonna be alright tonight.
Yo, what they do. I welcome you back to the Behind the Beard podcast for season 3, presented to you by the FGO Network. And right here, I got a special guest in the house. He go by the name of Unkle Luc. For the people who don't know who you are, introduce yourself.
Yeah, man. It's I'm a director, born and raised from Miami. I mean, other than directing, I'm just an all-around visual artist, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Just photography, design, music videos, experimental, filmmaking, editing, all that shit. Just, that's the realm I inhabit.
Yeah.
I contribute.
Yeah, man. But before we get to the interview, first things first, how have you been during this quarantine?
This shit, low-key been feeling, I feel all types of emotions right now. Like, it's just like, it kind of feels, I feel a bit of disbelief at what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sober about what's going on.
Yeah.
But just, it's kind of weird. Like, it almost feels unreal. Like, I'm seeing it happen right before my eyes. A lot of people, I'm seeing a lot of people not even, taking heed to that shit. But I don't know. I've been feeling good. I've just been in the crib, just trying to focus, just work and shit. But at the same time, it does feel lonely. It does feel weird.
Yeah. It's kind of like, when you go through, like, it's kind of like when you, like, going through your YouTube videos, you reading and all that, you forget that it's even quarantine or, the coronavirus is out, and then it just hits you like, oh, yeah, we going through it right now.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing about it.
Every once in a while, I get one of those, like, reminders, like, this shit probably going to be till June or August or some crazy shit like that.
Yeah, like even Trump said like another 30 days. I'm like, another 30 days, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But for the people who don't know you already, well, obviously you say where you from, but how was your upbringing like growing up in Miami?
Shit, it's pretty fun. Like, I grew up in the 90s in North Miami. Like, like, I had a lot of freedom as a child. Like, at least up until I would say, like, probably age 11, I would ride my bike around. You know what I'm saying? I would explore, have fun and shit like that. Coming up was fun. I think I came up in a good time of, like, just Miami culture and hip-hop culture in general, just the world and shit. Like, I remember when Tupac and Biggie was alive. I seen Nirvana on MTV.
Oh, wow.
Before fucking Kurt Cobain killed himself. I watched fucking Real World, all that shit. I seen Jordan play. Seen Kobe play. Seen Dan Marino play. Lonzo Mourning. All that shit. So, how they talk about the golden era, that I feel like my parents did me a favor.
Yeah.
Conceiving me at the time they did.
That's a good, like, man, I'm a 90s baby, but I'm like a late 90s baby. I was born in 96, so I got to enjoy it, but I ain't really like fully enjoy it because I was still a jit.
Yeah.
But that makes a whole lot of sense because, like, you know, with your work, it kind of like, it feels like the effects that you put in your work is like, it kind of correlates to the 90s a little bit. I ain't really think of it like that till just now.
Yeah, it definitely does. Like, that shit was funny. Like, I was born in '88, so I was always looking back. Like, living in the '90s, I was always like looking back at the '80s aesthetics. Even as a kid, I thought the '80s was dope. Before it was like, I mean, I'm not gonna say before it was trendy to think the '80s was dope. I'm pretty sure everybody loved the '80s aesthetics, so I'm not even gonna play myself. But I always loved the '80s vibes, and I always, you know, I came up watching shit on VHS and rewinding shit.
Oh man,
having a cable box and not having pay-per-view, but still trying to watch the movies through all that jumbled shit.
Yeah.
So it's like watching Stars and all that shit. You feel me? HBO. All those things is like what lends to my style of editing. So yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy because I was gonna ask you that a little bit later, but we get to that a little bit more later. But why the name Unkle Luc? Like what? Because you know that's a that's a legendary classic name. But I like the way you twisted it up and stuff like that. So what made you like come up with that name? Because obviously I know you probably by being from the crib you got inspired by that name. But why that name?
Yeah, it was just like the perfect name. Like I said, growing up in the '90s and shit. Like I'm born in the late '80s. So obviously, I forgot to even mention, like, I even got to experience a little bit of that aftershock of 2 Live Crew and Unkle Luc. When I was in kindergarten, like, the thing to do was to, like, you know, hold on, my bad. I gotta put medication in this nigga eye. Yeah, my bad.
No, you good.
Yeah, the shit to do when I was a jit was freaking the Doodle Brown beat.
Oh.
Like, that was the shit niggas was doing on the table with their pen or their pencil. So, like, that was always already, like, you know, Unkle Luc was already a big figure for kids at that time. And then, like, the name I really kind of connected doing the name when MySpace came out when I was in high school. So, like, that was my MySpace name.
Wow, that's crazy.
So I was just like, yeah, that was just my MySpace name. And then when I decided to take on this role, I just kept going with it.
I think MySpace don't get enough credit. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
Like, at all. That and AIM, because those were like the two two correlations and stuff like that around that time.
Yeah, that definitely was the first playgrounds right there. When I first got internet, I was on AIM heavy, and then social media became a thing with MySpace. That shit really introduced me. Pretty much, that introduced me to like almost everything I'm doing now. Like, aside from watching movies and music videos as a kid, like, just having to, just being able to code your own shit. Like, this shit happened by mistake. Like, I remember I was using, like, one of those coding websites. Free web layouts or some shit.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
But I couldn't copy and paste for some reason, so I had to go back and look at every line and remember every fucking thing to type it in.
Oh, wow.
So I had to type in the whole code. That one time basically taught me, like, how to do HTML. But I don't even remember how to do that shit anymore. But I remember, like, little basic shit, but that shit put me on to HTML. So I was just going in. Just from that, it inspired me to want to get into designing my own page.
Yeah.
And eventually getting a camera and spiraling into everything that I do today.
A lot of people don't understand, like, around that era, even the Tumblr era, like, the fact that, you know, people like us, like photographers, videographers, and stuff like that, when we was, like, coming up in the internet age, like, in the beginning parts, like, when we used to just either little things like creating our background of our MySpace or Tumblr page, like, copying and pasting and everything, that kind of, like, helped us to understand like what we going through right now. A lot of people don't understand that
Yeah.
like that era, like you thought you was doing something normal, like it was like whatever. But when you get older into the industry and stuff like that, you just be like, oh wow, like
Yeah.
it correlates.
Oh, yeah.
But
Start to peak.
but so what did you like? What found your interest into like videography, and what was like getting your first camera?
Like, just growing up, like, MTV was big. Like, watching, it's like, you know, I would stay, I mean, living in North Miami on the cable channels, Nickelodeon was 51, MTV was 57, Cartoon Network was 58, BET was 59.
Oh, wow.
The box was 69. So that was my rotation. I mean, I would watch fucking everything, but that was like my main section. Like before the internet, you know how you got your websites that you mainly just have as your fucking shortcut, or you just remember to type that bitch in?
Yeah.
That was like my channels. So just watching fucking switching from MTV to BT, watching and making the video and shit all day, like that shit really what kind of just, you know, captured my mind as a youth. And I mentioned having a lot of freedom and exploring a lot as a kid, but I have a little brother that's autistic, so it was pretty much on me to watch him when my mom was working. So after that became my responsibility, I was just in the crib all day watching MTV and BT and VH1 and the box and shit like that. And then when I was in high school, probably, like my senior year, I had got a computer and it had a Windows Movie Maker on it. And I was like, oh shit.
Wow. I remember that.
Like, it had some like stock shit in there. And I was like, damn, I gotta get my own camera so I could, you know, figure out how to do all this shit. And I ended up starting an eBay account, and I bought a fucking, even before that actually, I found a camera in my mom's closet.
I think that's I think that's like every videographer's like first, even the photography, like even photography. I think that's everybody's like first like go to, like finding the camera from your old girl, your parents' crib.
I don't know what the fuck she had that shit for, but I'm like, what the fuck? It's like I was on my computer, I had that fucking program. I was like, yo, I need a camera. Like the next day, I found that shit. That shit was like my first, like it felt like my first brush with magic in that instance. And
what was it? What camera was it?
It was like a JVC camcorder that took SD cards and mini DV tape and shit like that. I would just use the SD card because I didn't have no way of, you know, transferring the DV footage. And the shit will only record in 10-second intervals, so I would like record shit literally in 10-second clips and cut that shit together. And that's like my senior year, and I used to go to school and record people, and I may end up making like the senior videos. So like when we were graduating, like I had all the memories from the year in one video, and people was going crazy.
And that was like the early 2000s and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was 2006.
Oh wow.
That's pretty much how it started. And then when I graduated, I got into Photoshop, and I bought a little digital camera off eBay for like $5, and the shit said it didn't work. I didn't even realize until after I bought it. But when the shit came, it still worked, so I was good. It was like a little point and shoot, Canon Power Shot or some shit like that. That shit was $5, and that shit worked. I actually bought that shit again just to have memories again.
Yeah, like my first camera, it was a point and shoot, but it was like you know, like remember Circuit City, and remember when like they used to have like the regular cameras, like, you know, DSLRs, DSLRs, and then they have the little point and shoots that come in the package, but it's like in plastic. My grandma had like bought me it, and I remember I had a family event, and I just started snapping pictures like like whatever, like, you know what I'm saying. So I think that's like around like our age group, or like even like around your age group, like that started in the industry. I feel like that's everybody's journey, because Mike Carson even said that like in the early 2000s, like he just didn't know what, you know, to do. It was just like a regular camcorder, and he just started recording and stuff like that. So it's crazy, because it's like in the earlier times it wasn't cool. Like it wasn't cool around that time. And not even that it was cool. It was just like it wasn't like normal to do like videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, the shit wasn't accessible at all at that time. Like I remember, like I was playing with myself, basically telling myself like I'm just doing this shit as a hobby, just so I could keep doing it. Like I never was really in the beginning telling myself, yo, I'm gonna be a music video director, shit like that. I was just like, you know, going to school for journalism and kind of trying to figure out a way to, you know, maneuver that in. Maybe I could be a photojournalist or some shit like that. I was telling myself this before, you know, technology got to the point where everybody could pretty much, not everybody, but a lot of people were not able to access the type of quality and the type of shit we're able to do now. So it's like, that's why too, it's like, the average nigga ain't gonna have a raw-ass camera back in fucking 06 or to, you know, 2009. But you gotta spend bread for that shit, or you just gotta be on some other shit.
Yeah. So while you started to find yourself in videography, who inspired you during the process?
Shit. I mean, obviously growing up seeing the greats like Hype and Director X and fucking Christopher Wallace. I mean, I said Christopher Wallace. I'm high as fuck. But seeing all those niggas in the 90s, fucking, what's his name?
It was Hype.
Hold on. Dave Myers, fucking Joseph Kahn, all types of people, bro. Chris Cunningham, a lot of people like that I seen growing up. I can't even name all those people. I'm way too high for that. But like when I started, definitely, you know, Bill, what he did on Welcome to Heartbreak is probably one of my biggest influences. If people look at that video, they could see, you know, that's a big influence of mine. And at the time, seeing that, it was like the timing was crazy because I was already very heavy, like on the glitch vibes, and then that video was just like the perfect marriage of all that energy. So that shit really was like a boost for me. And I spent like 2 years trying to figure out how to date a mom after seeing that video. So that was a real big one for me. Fucking Spike Jones.
Oh yeah, Spike Jones.
Mark Romanek. Like I said, Chris Cunningham. Those were pretty much some of my bigger influences.
Would you
when
say?
It comes to music video.
Would you say? Well, who was like in the movie side? Like, who would your favorite directors be in the movie side?
Definitely Spike Lee. I just seen fucking She's Gotta Have It for the first time.
Oh, the Spike Lee one?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's a classic.
That movie is crazy. That shit reminds me of your work. You and like a lot of like Miami photographers.
Yeah, I watched it with a girl once, and she's the one that put me on, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. She's like, yeah, it reminds me of your work. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it's shots. Spike Lee for sure. Stanley Kubrick, fucking. I've been watching a lot of fucking. What is it? The Safdie Bros, like the shit they've been doing, like Uncut Gems. And,
that was an amazing movie. Yeah.
That shit is amazing. Who else? Hold on. Like, I'm so lazy when it comes to movies. My girl be yelling at me, like, trying to make me watch movies. Like, this past couple of years, I've been trying to focus more on getting inspired by films because there's so much more.
Yeah, it's a lot of movies out there that's like, you don't even know where to pick.
Yeah, fucking, obviously Scorsese, that nigga. Kira Kurosawa, that boy. There's a lot of people, bro.
Yeah, it's that's how I feel with photography. I don't even, when somebody asks me that, I'd be like, oh. But would you say that you started to grow a passion for videography while you kept on shooting on and on and on in the beginning?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like my love, I mean, it fluctuates, but ultimately it's huge, bro. Like, I've been into it since I was little. So I don't even know what to say. I don't even know how to measure it anymore. It's just a part of my life.
This is a lifestyle.
I can't even see past it anymore.
You live and die by it.
Pretty much, yeah, dog. Shit's everywhere.
How did you train yourself to get to create your own lane on that perspective?
I don't know, but like, I can't say, like, it's just really.
Would you say that you just kept on? Because I know for me, you know, me shooting my style, I just kept on shooting, doing like a lot of research on a lot of other, you know, photographers and stuff like that. Would you say that?
it's definitely, to me, it was just trying and just doing shit, looking up tutorials, and selling at that, or succeeding at those, but expounding upon what they taught me, and just like bringing my own energy to it, or just when I'm paying homage to people, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I pay homage to somebody, I just try to do it the right way, and just try to bring my energy to it, or say what I have to say, or add what I think needs to be said to it, you know what I'm saying? It's just a lot that goes into the shit I make. I don't necessarily just go into it thinking like I'm just doing this to have my own lane. I'll just be creating this shit. Sometimes I could go into it with the intention of being like, yeah, I'm trying to do some shit that's different. But sometimes I'm just like feeling like, yo, whatever. Sometimes I could be making some shit and I feel like it's trash, and then when I'm finally done, I'm looking at it like, yo, that's crazy. Like, I didn't know what was happening in the whole process until it was over.
Facts. In the beginning part, like, you know, when you started really taking it to that next level, or whatever the case may be, did people like doubt you in the beginning because you have like your style just like on some other stuff, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how did that, you know, correlate with you? Like, especially in the the late 2000s and the early 2010s, around that era.
That's pretty much when I started. I mean, when I started doing all this shit was like around 06, and then when I started getting to music videos, 2009. So I definitely would say, I mean, there was both. Like, there's people that believed in me. Like, there's people that have been supporting me since the MySpace days to up till now. There's people that, you know, that I work with that I've got freaking left on red or ignored in the past.
That always happens.
I don't really hold on to that. It's just cool, like, to see that now. I don't know, like, definitely there was people that doubted me, and definitely there's people that supported me. I don't try to put too much weight on it, but you know, I spent a lot of years, I feel like, reaching out to people, like, trying to get people to, like, you know, hire me to do shit, and then, you know, and then later down the line, I end up seeing they do stuff that's similar to my work, or it's like influenced by my work, and I'm just like, you know, I guess that's what I'm here for. Like,
charge it to the game.
What else? Yeah, like, what else can I really do about it except for keep working? I'm not gonna stop doing what I do. This expression is a part of my life anyway. So I'd rather be out here making some shit that people wanna be a part of or wanna expound on too. Because the shit that I see that I feel like expressing, I do that to show love. So it is what it is.
Yeah, most definitely. Especially like in this, you started to see, like, you know, this is one thing I can say as a fan perspective as well too. Like, when I guess you could say around 2016 or 15 on down, that's when like the effects stuff started to be like on the other level. I'm like, dang, like Unkle Luc. I remember Unkle Luc used to, because I found out about you like in the mid 2000s, like 2012. Like, I was in high school at the time, man. And the next thing you notice, you know, the industry, you know, around that time, a lot of rappers started to do, especially Currency, like, around that time, that's when artists started to do music videos on a DSLR. And they started just dropping on YouTube and stuff like that. And then that was that era, like the early 2010s, and then leading to like the 2015, 16, 17s. That's when you started to see like more effects. But I remember you been doing that, so I just seeing how the industry is changing in that perspective. And the one thing I can say is, out of the people that do effects and stuff like that, I could say that AZ Productions, I think that's his AZ or something like that, one from Chicago, and then Cole Bennett, like them two boys, like I was like, yo, they taking it to that next level, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's one thing I was saying. But what made you start putting effects in your videos, and why?
Like, just in general, I feel like the style that I put to my shit is just because, like, I have dreams of doing shit on a crazy scale that I don't have access to, or I didn't have access to early on. So I had to, like, you know, do something to basically just in the simplest terms, do something that was entertaining to me. Like if I couldn't have a fucking $1 million budget or have all this shit that I'm fantasizing about when I'm trying to create shit, at least I could use the tools within the software or with the hardware that I have to create something that stands out, that's just like that just looks cool to me. So whenever I just feel like the formula for me is if I can make it look good to me, and if it hits for me, like it just gives me a sensation. I feel like majority of the time it's gonna hit for everybody else. So that's pretty much my process. Like I'm not gonna say I don't try to come with certain looks sometimes, but naturally the things that come out of it is just like me just trying to find something, just experimenting and just finding things that just hit.
Yeah.
And just going with it. So that's just how it happens. But obviously, that's a part of the creative process. Is like some shit just comes about naturally, and then once you become aware of it, you start to seek it, or people who see it, they're gonna start to emulate it. And I'm part of that too. That's just how we are as human beings.
Yeah, that's just like when you get inspired, that's just part of the inspiration. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that's how it is with the effects. Like coming from, and that's hip hop culture, but it's like hip hop is like poor people using speakers and sound machines and their voice to make some swaggy ass shit, and I'm just a child of that. Just in a visual sense, I'm just a visual element of that same art of hip hop. I'm just using my tools and my vision, my sauce from what I learned in life and what I've seen over the years, and giving that for people to look at. So it's the same shit as when you're hearing a song from a nigga that ain't got no money, but this shit is hitting harder than any nigga that got money.
Yeah, you gotta make something out of nothing. That's pretty much what it is. I can only imagine like some of the videos that you've done. You probably had a regular DSLR, but you made it something. You made something out of nothing. I remember I had a Nikon D3100 to start off with photography. I didn't know it was like I needed the 5Ds of the world. You know what I'm saying? To get to that next level. And you gotta then you look at your past work, I'm like, yo, how did I do that?
Nah, I feel like that all the time.
Yeah. And one thing I can say about your work, like that whole effect, I don't even know what to call it, but I seen it on TV. But that little, I don't know what the word for it. Yeah, like that gravitated me, cause I think I found out about you through this when The Void was happening. You know what I'm saying? And I remember, Forbes used to display his work, and I think you did as well too. And I used to see that, me coming from Liberty City, I didn't know nothing about no art stuff. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Rod. He put me on game with all that, all y'all boys. But that right there, I could understand why you said that the 90s and the 80s, you gravitate more of that. Because, the TVs, like, we used to look at the TVs, and sometimes you be thinking your TV messed up, but it's really like just the show or whatever the case may be, or it could be your TV, But what would you say would be like the roadblocks you faced starting all of this, like in the beginning stages? Because you had to have some roadblocks, and you was like, man, F this, I ain't doing this no more. But then you just keep on going.
Yeah, it's always roadblocks, bro. Like I feel like every level is just a more advanced roadblock. That's just how the game is. I feel like that's perfect. Like people like us coming from a life that gives you a taste of, of not winning, give you a taste of failure, give you a taste of want. You already know what it's like to not really have it, so it's not really like you going into it about to lose everything you earned. It's kind of like that's all you have anyway. Like even if I was gonna live the rest of my life, broke or unknown, I would still be able to find happiness in doing the art that I make if I have my tools to do it. So I think that's the number one obstacle, is just like knowing how to deal with disappointment, and then another obstacle that's internal, just having that drive to learn and just keep putting in those hours and just keep learning and keep trying to expand upon your shit.
Yeah, and molding everything together. Cause I feel like a lot of people, they get depressed because they don't. It's not how they. It's not the work is not coming how they want to. But sometimes you'll never know. You'll never know that. You might look at. You be trying to. How should I say this? You want your work to be a certain way, but then you end up doing something different, and then it'll be as dope as what you really wanted it to be. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that happens to you sometimes?
All the time, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, like I said, being able to just, live with whatever, just like, it's all about the art at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, you can have any aim, but if you're able to live with your art, you'll be good through anything, I think.
Yeah, most definitely. What was the first music video you ever did, if you could remember?
I got two answers. The first video I did for someone was for my homie Sydney 30. So,
okay. Shout out to Sydney. That's what I thought too.
He's like one of the people that got me to do music videos. And
wow.
The first music video I did was for him. Doomsday Do It Alls, but that's not up anymore. That shit was a fun experience. Like, I remember having like an old ass E-Machines computer, and I was still in college. And I was like rendering that shit, and it was taking like hours. I was gonna go to school, come back and see if the shit was gonna be done, but I was like, fuck it, I'm not going to class. I'm just sit here and watch this shit render.
And what program you was using?
I was using Sony Vegas.
Ooh, that's a classic. That's a classic, though. I ain't gonna lie.
That's a fire ass software.
Yeah, it is. I used to mess with it back then too.
Yeah, and another video I did was that video that was starring me, Rap Ambush. It was like M doing Rap Ambush.
Oh, okay.
I bought his one like this album. The deluxe version came with a paper mask.
Mm-hmm.
And I had my homie film me. And I made a fucking video. That shit got like 40,000 views. And it was on all the blogs.
Oh, wow.
That shit was lit. Fucking Stone's Throw ended up following me and all.
Oh, wow. I know you was like stoked on that.
Hell yeah. That was a good start for me.
Yeah. So what would you say, would you say that's like the first music video offer you would say that would be a big break in the industry, or would it be a different video on that?
It's definitely like levels, bro. Like that first Doom video, like that being the first video I did to get like 30,000 views, and I forgot MF Doom's label fucking with it.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty big. Then, doing shit in Miami for something J Nix and First James, like on our scene, that was big. Then obviously the next level, working with Rob Banks and Denzel Curry,
yeah,
and that whole Ready Clan movement, that was big. And then moving on to working with fucking Future. I don't know what to call it, but I'm really into freestyling. Like, I don't try to just wing everything that I do. I would say a lot of my favorite stuff just came from just feeling it out in the moment. Most of my process, like working on underground videos over the years, it involves like, crazy planning or, storyboards or any of that type of stuff. And I respect all that. I'm trying to get better implementing those things into my process now. But before, it'll be a lot of just, obviously visualizing it, but just pretty much not seeing the location until we found it, or just pulling up somewhere, or just driving around, or just using whatever the fuck we had.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the work that you probably recognize me for, it wasn't like, I was like, I'm going to do this, this, and this. It's just, as time goes, there's certain things that stick with me.
Chance you find is here for your design. Take a step that makes you light. Let your spirit spread delight throughout the atmosphere. Take my hand so we can touch. Night's been long, I've loved you much. Now the sun is shining high. Daylight strokes a tender rhyme. Your sweet love is a gift. Hey baby, don't do that bad thing. Stay on your good thing. And I'll be there to help you sing. Hey baby, don't do that bad thing. Stay on your good thing. And I'll be there to help you sing. Hey baby, don't do that bad thing. Stay on your good thing. And I'll be there to help you sing. Hey baby, don't do that bad thing. Stay on your good thing. And I'll be there to help you sing. Hey baby, don't do that bad thing. Stay on your good thing. And I'll be there to help you sing. Hey baby, don't do that bad thing. Stay on your good thing. And I'll be there to help you sing. Hey baby, don't do that bad thing. Stay on your good thing. And I'll be there to help you sing. Hey baby, don't do that bad thing. Stay on your good thing. And I'll be there to
What goes through your mind, or what are the steps while you completing the treatment for a client?
Shit. Treatment, that's my nightmare. That's the thing that makes my heart jump every time I get a new job. It's like I'm always perpetually praying for that next dope gig. But once that email comes through, I'm like, shit. Like I'm getting through that anxiety burst that happens. Every come with a treatment, I'll just listen to the song as much as I can. And nowadays, this thing I got from Denzel, like when I first started talking with him, he'll always be like writing notes, and just it feels like you have to make a story to some shit. It's just like a moment in time where you're just looking at a certain vision or something, where it's not like you're going through time. Watching the video, you're just looking at shit happening or something happening that just, perfectly visualizes the music. So
Yeah.
it depends what direction I'm trying to go with it, but I'm all over the place. If you guys, anybody that's worked with me with treatments, they'll show you how fucking crazy I could get with them. As David West, all the shit he has to clean up after I write a treatment, so I'm
Especially,
the wrong guy.
especially how about like the songs that's trash? Like, isn't it hard to like come up with that treatment? Cause he's like, yo, I don't have no ideas to this, cause this song is so trash.
Yeah, like that's the dark side of doing this shit. It's like I'm working towards like basically I don't have to just shoot every fucking thing that comes to my email. Like if I think something is bad, I try to avoid it unless I'm fucking broke or something. I think I'm good enough now. I don't have to just take everything, but there was definitely times where like I was taking everything and there would be some shit that was just like trash, and I'm just like, I'm confident enough to know like once I get somewhere with my camera and the conditions is right, I'm gonna get something good. So if the worst case scenario is that the song is trash, I'm just gonna freestyle it and I'm gonna come up with some swaggy shit. But nowadays I don't even stress myself out with anything that makes me feel like that.
Yeah. Can you elaborate like on how like you approach your editing and how you sit on your laptop for long periods of time, or laptop or computer, long periods of time?
Yeah, bro. My process is like probably 90% procrastination and just thinking about shit and anticipating it being my worst edit ever, and then finally getting that feeling, like finally waking up one day and just feeling like, yeah, like I gotta do this, or waking up just getting that email like, yo, when is that edit coming? And I have to get that fire into my eyes, or get some Cuban coffee or some shit to get that spark, and I just like sit there, organize my shit, just get everything organized into good folders, just so I have some structure, and just I like to start once I get through with all my procrastination and get booted up on some coffee. I just look at everything, watch everything. It could be days of me just watching footage sometimes, just so I could have a picture of everything that I have first before I start putting shit on the timeline. And then my general process is just starting with something that I wouldn't have to cut at all. Like I would take the best shot as far as performance goes and start with that. And then I would layer shit on top of that. So the first clip would be just a long take that I won't really cut. And then I'll progressively add clips that need more and more cutting as I go until I have like a flow. And then from there I could rearrange things and take shit out to give it more, to make it breathe better. But that's pretty much how I start, and then it gets crazy after that.
Yeah, man, because staring at a computer for a long period of time, it messes with your eyes, and you just like, yo, I can't take this no more. I need some rest. Like, I need rest. I need to go outside.
Oh yeah, nah, I'm a big advocate of rest and just vibing. Like, I'm a workhorse. I go in, but at the same time, I'll be chilling too. Like, if you know me, you know I smoke hella gas. I just be smoked out, vibing. If my brain starts hurting, I'm very wary of any type of like burning out or just, you know, overexerting myself on some shit. So
yeah,
I try to stay mindful, go out, get sunlight, breathe, take time. Like, people know, like, my reputation for the longest was being the slowest editor. Like, people used to try to like destroy me, like destroy my reputation. Like, this nigga takes forever to fucking edit. Like you're not gonna catch me out here fucking killing myself trying to edit every fucking video in 2 days. There's some shit that's just that inspiring that you can really come back to the crib and just knock that shit out. And there's other shit like, nah, bro, you can't be doing that. And there's niggas out here that be doing that, man. Niggas be on Adderall. Niggas just be fucking coked up, just going in.
I don't know how. That's crazy.
I ain't that guy. I definitely had a time in my career where I was taking Adderall for like 2012. Yeah, like 2012. Pretty much all that shit, I was fucking popping Adderall. But not like crazy, but like, I would say like every couple months, I would take like a piece of Adderall and finish my shit. Just because I was that nigga that would take forever. And like to procrastinate, I'll procrastinate, pop Adderall, finish mad shit, and then just chill for a long time.
Yeah, because you definitely got to take breaks, because if you don't take that break, you'll go crazy, like really crazy.
Yeah, like if I kept on that path, I'd probably been fucking out of it by now.
So when you're in a creative slump, how do you bounce back? Or do you have a fresh mind to get inspired by?
There's a lot of different ways I try to just get through those times. Like, right now, it's definitely, I was going through that. Just being in this fucking quarantine shit and people being just locked in their crib for the most part, and not being able to see my girlfriend as much as I want to. Like, the shit just definitely fucked with me creatively. I just felt like, I always realized that whenever I get into that mode, I just can't force it. I just chill. Just let life charge me up. Just live, just experience shit, take my time, breathe, reflect, look inside, do shit like that, watch shit until I feel like the fire is burning again. It's just like, I don't know, bro. It's just like, you know, knowing when your energy levels is back up. It's just something you gotta have a sense for.
Yeah.
You know when it's low. So when your shit is low, there's certain things that charge you up. It may not be the same for everybody.
Yeah, cause go ahead, my bad. I apologize.
But once you figure out those things, you just do that, tap into those things that charge you back up, get that love from your family, you know, watch some shit that expand your mind, read something, fucking take a nap, go for a walk, something, whatever it is.
Yeah, cause I feel like a lot of people they too hard on themselves because of they don't have that creative juice and all that. But you know, I tell a lot of people, you just gotta live life, and once you live life, that juice is gonna go right back into your system. I think I learned that from like a lot of writers. 'Cause a lot of people have like a lot of writer's block, but they tell me like they just have to go to the beach or they have to like go to the park and just you know, to get inspired. I think that's the key thing of getting inspired. Just go outside and just really like, you know, live life. You feel me? So you have a lot of videos you've done, but what stood out to me was Parents by Denzel Curry and Trap Niggas by Future. What drew your inspiration towards those videos?
I remember in 2012.
And by the way, everybody, Trap Niggas is now on YouTube. It took it down.
Wild.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
We'll get back to that one. But I remember in 2012, that was just like, I don't know what to call it. Like, that was my, like, fucking, I don't know, Renaissance year or something. Like, I just moved back from New York, and I was like, that's when my brother passed away. I was living at the campsite, and I was taking fucking acid. I was doing shrooms. I tried DMT. I was just really chilling in 2012, just like getting lit and just, you know, finding a lot of shit. And we mentioned Tumblr. I was heavy on Tumblr, finding all types of crazy shit, directors and wild underground, like dope ass art. And I remember finding this dude. What is his name? It's a Big New Rybczynski. And this nigga is like, he's a Polish director from the 70s, 80s type shit. And this nigga was like experimental as fuck. Like that effect that I used in Parents and in Trap Niggas and a lot of other videos, it's like this like fourth dimensional, like spirally looking weird effect. It's called time displacement or slit scan. Like he invented that effect, but the process that he used to do it was like crazy. Like it was like he had a movie called The Fourth Dimension using that effect throughout it.
Yeah.
And it basically like the way video worked at that time was just like every line on the frame was basically representing time. So it's like the way you're looking at an image is the lines were scanning down real fast.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
That's what made up the image on the TV. But he did some, I don't even remember the details of this shit, but it was like some crazy shit where he was like, he recorded basically every line in the frame, he recorded another clip that was like a certain you know, few steps ahead in the future of basically. So it's like instead of you looking at a moment when you're looking at a regular image, he was doing it to where you look at one image, you're looking at a span of time in one frame. So that's why they was calling it the fourth dimension. So the frame, the line at the top of the frame could be at 1 second, and at the bottom of the frame, it could be at 3 seconds. You could really do it however you want. But he was doing that shit manually and back in the 80s, and it was like the craziest shit I ever seen, and that shit really blew my mind. It took me like a couple of years just to like figure out how to, you know, recreate that effect. So that's one of the main inspirations that goes into those videos. And then I mentioned Welcome to Heartbreak, Kanye buying the bill with the Data Marsh and shit. So those two things is like big in my whole style. So that's what went into those videos. People should look into that.
What I like about the Parents by Denzel Curry, it kind of reminds me of like a video game. Like even though the kid is playing video games, but the way that you zoomed in into the video, like him playing the video games, it kind of reminds me of like being a child. And also like I like the part at the end with the door, like the porch door, and how like it opens, but it's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like it opens, but halfway, the top half of the door is like already open, but the bottom half is not open. But
that's what I'm talking about. When I explain how the top of the frame and the bottom of the frame, you're looking at a whole span of time. So that's why when you see the door opening like that, it's like you're seeing the door close and open at the same time in one frame.
And I seen you did that with Smoke Perk. I seen you did that with Smoke Perk with his video where he had it with Curry when Denzel. Yeah. I remember you doing that. Like that. Yeah, that'd be. I'd be looking at it. I'd be like, yo, that'd be tripping my mind. Like, yo.
Basically, it's like that. That's how I feel. It's like a lot of shit that impacted me. Like anything that really, really impacted me. Like I try to pay homage to it. Like if it really hit me, like it's something that's a part of my style for the long run. So like that effect right there, and Data Martian shit really hit me at pivotal times in my development. So that's why I keep on bringing those back in my work, because I don't know, I want people to feel the way I felt when I first seen that. I'm like, yo, that shit felt crazy. Like that shit blew me away. Just like how Kobe was fucking watching Jordan going off.
Yeah.
When he got in the league, he's like doing those moves. But that's how I feel. Like when I've seen those films and seen those videos, I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like people need to see this. This shit is too crazy. I need to push this forward a little bit.
So I asked Forbes this in my the last time I interviewed him. What was your mindset while shooting Threats by Denzel Curry, and what made you put the hues purple and green on the skin tones on the video?
Bro, I remember that video. That was the first time I worked with Forbes.
Mm-hmm.
We had like no budget for that shit. We came up with a crazy ass idea. Like we was talking about shit that we could not afford. Mm-hmm. When we pulled up, we was like shot that shit in like the Everglades. When we pulled up, we was like, yo, we don't got none of that shit we planned for. So all that shit was just like pretty much figured out on the spot. I remember, like, I don't remember what the treatment was, but it was gonna be some like crazy military guerrilla warfare type shit that was gonna be going on, helicopters. And then, but nigga Denzel was not famous yet. There was no money for any of that. We was just, coming up with anything.
Freestyling pretty much.
Yeah, freestyle that shit. Had mad motherfuckers pull up to the Everglades. And just, once we got there, it was just like, I just saw everything that looked dope, and then we just blocked that shit from there.
Yeah. So, how many people were there? Like, because there was a lot of people in the video.
I don't know, but I suck at estimating. I'm gonna say like 100 people, maybe less.
100 people pulled up to the Everglades. That's
I'm
crazy.
I'm really trash at estimating, so take away like 30 of that. But it was a lot of motherfuckers. I'm gonna have to go back and try to count. It was a good chunk of motherfuckers out there, though.
Yeah. So we talked about. Go ahead.
That purple and green. Like that's the thing. Like I was saying, like I'm always experimenting, just trying to like do something that. Like, I'm not done with a video until it gives me that feeling of, like, yeah, this is lit. Like, this is done. Like, I remember editing that shit and just not feeling like that shit was smacking until I realized, like, maybe I should experiment with the color a little bit. And that's when I landed on that. And during that era, that's when I did the Wild Art book around that time. And Denzel was a part of that, too. And I always associate him with this one art piece in that book of this fox on a building. And the color scheme is purple and green like that. So I thought that shit too. And of course, Bombs Over Baghdad, Outkast.
Oh yeah, of course. Most definitely. How is it like working with Denzel? I see you like, you guys pretty much kind of, I wouldn't say grew up together, but y'all grew up together in a sense. And how's it like working with him? Because I seen you recently, you was at the Zoo tour. With him, and how was that for you?
It's interesting working with Denzel. I love him. I watched Denzel grow up. Definitely, like I met Denzel when he was 16. My boy Mark, been managing him for like I don't know how long now. Probably been like 7 or 8 years now. So I don't know. It's fun. Like I got to see Denzel from a kid to a man. It's always fun arguing with this nigga and just being on the road and just dealing with him and but seeing how he moves, and because he's a successful dude, so it's like I'm looking at him like, yo, I've known you since you were a kid. Like when you know somebody when they're a kid, it's kind of hard to not picture them as a kid. But obviously I have that respect for him, but it's like I'm just watching him and seeing how he moves and seeing his creative process and the shit that he does and learning from him as an older person, but knowing that the younger people have shit to teach you too, so it's always a learning experience with Denzel.
So we talked about movies, and you like, how you want to endeavor into movies. What would that movie be like? Like, what would a Uncle Luke movie be like?
I don't know, dog. I have so many ideas of what it is. I think my problem is, like, my mind overflows with shit. I just have to kind of put boundaries on stuff and just present those, because I could just end up, evolving something over and over in my head, or just keep adding to it until it just changes into something else. So I just kind of realized, I just got to essentially put boxes around things, but not box myself in. It's just I have a tendency to run on and on with ideas. I think that's what it is. Like, when I try to think about a movie, it just keeps expanding. So it's like I really need to simplify what I want to express. I haven't gotten to that point of really knowing exactly what story I want to tell. I think right now, like, what's happening, like, in our lives and just what's going on in society, like, there's certain things that I've been really focused on a lot that I feel like maybe I want to try to make a movie about, but I still don't know. Yeah. I still can't say for sure. But I know an Unkle Luc movie would be, like, on some other shit. That's all I hope. Like, it's just some other shit. Just make you feel like, damn, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's the least I want an Unkle Luc movie to be like, what the fuck? Yeah. But I know that shit don't come easy, so I think that's what holds me back.
Yeah, I think would you say it's because, like, the fact that it's not just like a 5-minute or a 4-minute, 3-minute video, it's like a whole telling a story, and not just telling a story within 3 minutes, but you telling a story within, like, maybe 60 minutes or 2 hours, Yeah,
that's why I've been trying to just, like I said, internalize stories so I can know. Like, I spent so many years internalizing music videos, just watching that shit growing up. I could do that shit in my sleep. Like, a movie is so much more expensive and so much like that goes into that I wouldn't want to fuck some shit like that up. I want my shit to hit. Like, there's a lot of chances I take with music videos, but I feel like the playing field of film is a lot more serious, so I take that shit dead serious.
Especially that big budget.
That budget too. That budget shit is so weird, but, like, I don't know how I feel, like, because now I'm getting to the point where I'm touching more budgets, but I wouldn't say it made the process easier, because it took a lot of shit. It takes a lot of shit out of your hands, like, coming from being an underground shooter to doing, stuff that has money behind it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so used to doing everything pretty much alone, and then get into the side of the game where it's like
team effort.
There's money to allocate to other experts or other people that I fuck with, that I want to collaborate with, or people that are just professional and they get it. So it's like knowing how to orchestrate those type of situations and focusing more on the vision and how to communicate that to a team of people.
Yeah. Rather
than just, pulling up and just shooting. So it's a whole different beast. But it's like, it's cool because you have access to all types of shit. It's like when you're brainstorming as an underground shooter, it's like most of the shit you're thinking about, you can't really get, because there's so many factors that you have to be in control of to really do what the first vision that comes to mind is, at least for me. But when you have money, it presents a new challenge, because, like, you got to go through that learning phase of knowing what costs what and what boundaries, what ideas fit within what boundaries, and then, figuring out what to do from there. So it's like having everything, it's like having limitations kind of helps, because then you can work within that. Once you start expanding those, it becomes a little more challenging. But even the shit that I would think is like a fucking big budget, it'll be, to people, it'll be like nothing. Like, the fucking Smoke Perp shit was $25K, and I'm like, yeah, like, this shit is crazy. And then next door, it was like shooting Beyonce in the same studio. She wasn't there yet, but like, her shit was crazy. Like, I thought my set was crazy, and then I seen her set,
and that's like a big budget.
Shit was probably like 100, 250,000 or some shit.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, this shit is nothing, though. So it's all relative. It's weird as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, when you don't have nothing, like it all goes back into making something out of nothing.
Yeah,
It all falls back into that. But if you had to shoot something for someone you've respected, dead or alive, who would that be? It could be a movie or a music video.
Man, that's too broad. I suck at broad questions because my mind is always gonna fly far away. But I mean, right now I really want to shoot for Jay Electronica.
Yeah,
Like,
because of the
that's
album,
one of my
right?
favorite- Yeah, like one of my favorite rappers, bro. Like, and I honestly, like, I'm tight at like the content of what Jay-Z brought to the album because of my political leanings and how I feel about what he's been doing recently. But I still have appreciation for the album.
Most definitely.
And for both of their lyricism and me being a fan of Jay Electronica. When I first started doing videos, it was always my goal to work with Jay Electronica. So that's somebody I definitely would like to work with.
Oh, shit. You put it in the air, so it's gonna come right back to you.
Let's see.
So last question, man. What advice would you give a young aspiring, I would say, videographer or director in this field?
Shit. Keep learning and try to build as much patience as you can. And hold on, wait. Let's run that back. I gotta answer somebody.
Technical difficulties right now. This is a technical difficulty episode, man. I had so much space on my laptop. I had to delete everything. All right. But yes.
You need time for something? Or I can go back again to see what I was saying?
Yeah, so last question. What advice would you give an aspiring videographer or director in this field?
Shit, try to focus on building as much patience as you can in all senses. Like patience with yourself, patience to learn, patience to know, like, you just gotta learn. And try to cultivate the ability to just love what you do. I don't know if I was just lucky, like doing a lot of shit early on, and I thought it was dope, and then I look back and I'm like, yo, that shit was trash. I'm glad I didn't look at it and see that it was trash.
Yeah.
So if you have a way of like fucking seeing the dopeness in everything you make, that'd be good. If you don't already have that, just always try to learn constantly. Just watch shit and don't just copy. Like, copying is just a part of being a human being, but don't make copying the foundation of your work. Use your copying if that's something you have to do as a part of your learning process. But the goal is like finding your voice and saying something that needs to be said. Don't be wasteful. Let shit shine. And let yourself shine. That's probably the 3 basic advices I would give.
Most definitely. Where can people get in contact with you?
On Instagram, on Twitter, Unkle Luc, UNKLELUC. If you need to email me, Luc at UnkleLuc.com, LUC at UNKLELUC.com.
All right, man. Appreciate you, man, for being part of episode 21, man. Most definitely. Like, I really appreciate you, man. Even though we had technical difficulties back then, like back and forth, but it's all good. I'm gonna fix it. We gonna be all straight.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I wanna implore everybody who listens to this to take some time to look into some anti-capitalist literature and theory one time.
Most definitely.
Start thinking about those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most definitely. Like, we go back and forth with this because I'm learning from Unkle Luc, man. He been putting me on gems on top of gems. Most definitely look into like, just read, man. Just read. Like, right now I've been reading Shada Shakur, her book, and that's what happened.
I need to. No, I was like, ooh, you reading like the autobiography?
Yeah, I'm on chapter 4 right now.
Yeah, that's on my list. Read that.
I'm gonna send you the. I could send you the the PDF if you want me to.
Yeah, do that, please.
But all right, episode 21, we out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's a wrap for episode 21 of Behind the Beard podcast. Follow me on all social media platforms at by Aaron J. Jackson, BYAARONJJACKSON. And make sure you subscribe to the FGO Network on YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, and Apple Podcasts. And follow the FGO Network on all social media platforms at Fuck Going Out. FUCKGOINGOUT. See you next episode, and make sure you guys stay inside, especially during this quarantine season, because this shit's getting real outside, and we don't want y'all to get sick. We want y'all to be here and safe, you know what I'm saying? And please just make sure you wash your hands, stay inside, and wash your eyes, and just, read some books, man, and get your mind right. I'm your host, Aaron J. Jackson, also known as Marvin Bay, and I'm out.
Behind the Beard by Aaron J. Jackson.